Community 10.
One of Calgary's oldest communities deals with one of the world's oldest professions.
Hello and welcome to the season premiere of Plugged In. I'm Margaret Taylor.
And I'm Nancy Sinclair. Each Wednesday and Sunday evening, we'll plug you into the events, the stories, and the people that shape and define our city.
We'll also provide you with a window of all the important and exciting events happening in your community. We celebrate the milestones and unearth those trivial nuggets of our fair city. But first, imagine finding used condoms and used syringes on the sidewalk outside of your house each morning. A steady stream of traffic closes your streets all day. All signs of a trade that residents of one community see as just another obstacle in the battle to reclaim their neighborhood. Simon Bunyan reports.
Victoria Park is one of Calgary's oldest communities. It has recently become a focal point in Calgary for one of the world's oldest professions, prostitution. We'll be talking with community leader Richard Gregory, along with the police, to discuss some of the issues and concerns currently facing residents of Victoria Park.
It's not just the sex trade business itself, it's all the related problems that go along with it. It's the discarding of paraphernalia, condoms, needles, that type of stuff. It's the increase in illegal activity that goes along with it. It's the increased traffic, undesirable traffic that goes on in the neighborhood. It's, you know, people having their parking lots, their backyards and the parks used for the business of the sex trade industry. We have people who have, you know, tried to discourage the sex trade workers from working in front of their houses, that type of stuff, who have been harassed by the prostitutes, by the pimps themselves. There have been women who have been accosted while they're walking on the street, that type of stuff. So, and it's just, again, people who are, you know, frightened away from doing business in the area because the prostitution outside of businesses, it's just not a desirable place to come and do business. The trade has spread out. We're seeing more of it. We're seeing it covering a larger area, moving into areas that it wasn't before 2 years ago. 2 years ago it was pretty much confined to a specific area. Since then it's grown, it's expanded. I think there are a number of different strategies that will take place with the involvement of the community people, the residents, and the business owners in Victoria Park as well, working together to discourage the trade from taking place on their streets. I think for long-term plans, we have to look at working together. We have to look at what we can do together, because the community group can't do anything without the police support. The businessmen can't do anything without the community support. So much of it depends on the direction given to them by City Council, mainly the people in City Council. A lot of that too. The other levels of government aren't void of responsibility here. I mean, we don't have laws that are supportive of getting rid of this kind of a problem at all in this country. There has been nothing done at the provincial level to include teenage prostitution under the Child Welfare Act so that people can actually be picked up under the guise of the Child Welfare Act. That hasn't happened either. So there's a number of different responsibilities all levels of governments need to take in this situation. We're focusing on the municipal one because that's the one we've got the most direct control over, and that's the one that can address the problem that we've got here in Calgary right now.
Citizen activism can only succeed within the confines of the legal system. For the police point of view on the problem of prostitution in Victoria Park, we're going to be talking with Staff Sergeant Brian Skeet, the Chief Liaison Officer between the Calgary Police Force and the residents of Victoria Park. Could you perhaps tell us, in your own opinion, how much of a problem prostitution is to the residents of Victoria Park?
Well, all I can say is that I think perceptions of the problem are going to be different as far as the residents are concerned, opposed to the police. I think the residents would be concerned if there was only one prostitute in the area. The police, on the other hand, view the situation a little differently in that it's a manageable problem. Unfortunately, it is not illegal to be a prostitute. It's not illegal to dress and work and act like a prostitute on city streets. These people have the same rights to stand there as any other citizen do. That creates a bit of a problem for us. The only law that they're breaking is when they actually communicate for the purposes of prostitution. The only way to enforce that law is to use undercover operators and do stings. These stings are man-hour and cost-intensive. Although we try to do them once a month, they become very difficult, and they draw from the manpower on the street to do that. The citizens have indicated that the problem is getting worse, and I can't argue with that. Whether it's becoming manageable, I don't think so. Just the mere presence, I think it's gotten them to the point where they're getting frustrated and upset. They'd like to see something done. Unfortunately, they look to the police to do this, and we can't take sole ownership for this problem. It is a community problem. The people, the residents and the businesses in the area have to take some of the ownership for this, make the commitment to do some of the things that are necessary to try and lessen the impact that this trade has on their lives.
It's obvious that there is no easy solution to solving the problem of prostitution in Victoria Park. Efforts of residents and police alike may yet succeed in driving prostitutes from the area. However, under current law, such an outcome would most likely only transfer the problem to other Calgary communities. For Plugged In, this is Simon Bunyan.
The $100 Film Festival is a celebration of the spirit and vision of independent filmmakers. The festival just celebrated its 5th anniversary this past weekend, and we sent reporter Simon Bunyan to the Uptown Theatre to check out this growing international festival.
We're outside of the Uptown Theatre in downtown Calgary, the site of this year's 5th annual Calgary Society of Independent Filmmakers $100 Film Festival. Joining us tonight to talk about the festival is festival organizer and independent filmmaker Pamela Sears.
Look, I was looking through the program, and anyone can submit a film for this festival. You don't have to be a CSIF member to enter a film at all. They're just the ones hosting and coordinating the event. But by that, it has to be film. It can't be video. Even though it's specified as the 5th annual $100 Film Festival, it's actually the spirit of $100 filmmaking, which is very low budget filmmaking. So there's no particular budget constraint other than the fact that we want to keep it as low as possible. I would describe the philosophy of the festival as the celebration of the spirit and vision of low-budget filmmaking and filmmakers. Over the last 5 years, we started in 1992 with 7 very local entries, that is to say from Calgary, and this year we have 47 entries from all over. Typically you'll see generally more experimental films, animated shorts, so the sort of things that you wouldn't necessarily come across in some of the more commercial theaters. A specific success story I can think of is Gary Burns. He has done a number of shorts, and he's been in the $100 Film Festival in the past. He's in fact the chair of our committee this year, and he has done a feature film, The Suburbanators, which was quite a big hit overall. Last year, I think, who was it said that it was the best film in Canada last year not released, and this year he's in fact shooting $1.5 million feature.
Most of the movies we watch these days are produced in Hollywood for millions of dollars. But how do these low-budget, independently produced projects compare? What are their relative strengths? For that question and more, we'll be talking with Calgary film critic and one of 3 festival judges, Fred Heiseker.
Compared to the typical Hollywood production, the films in this festival are made on a very low budget. That means you don't see any of the smooth kind of story editing that you see in a typical Hollywood film. Some of the films are abstract films. There's a lot of stop-motion animation. When I judge a film, the first thing I'm looking for is something that will surprise me. Because I've seen a lot of movies, I like to see something different. This year, there are 4 prizes. There's 1 prize for the best film in Super 8 format, the smallest format. There's another for best film in 16 millimeter. There's 1 for the best film from Alberta, a local production, and there's 1 audience choice.
The increasing audience numbers for this festival, along with the success of the Uptown, the Plaza, and the recently renovated Globe Theatre, may indicate that Calgary audiences want films other than mainstream Hollywood fare, a trend which bodes well for the continued growth and success of Calgary's $100 Film Festival. From the Uptown Theatre in downtown Calgary, this is Simon Bunyan reporting for Plugged In. Military research and development has throughout history been on the cutting edge of technological innovation. For example, it was the Allied effort during World War II to break German codes that laid the groundwork for today's computers. In fact, military research and development has been credited with technological breakthroughs in fields ranging from jet travel to powdered milk. But how about innovations in politics, the way we vote, the foundation of our democracy? Well, changes are coming, and a Calgary-based company is leading the way. Computing Devices Canada, one of Canada's leading defense contractors, has developed a revolutionary voting system using technology derived from state-of-the-art battlefield communication system. Jim Mason is a project manager. Jim, could you discuss with us some of the existing technology employed in compiling votes?
The current existing technologies for compiling votes are largely paper-based, although there is an older system based on mechanical levers. The paper-based systems are of two types: optical scan ballots, in which the voter fills in with using a special pen between the two arrows, and then these are fed through a reader which reads them, and a punch card system in which the voter's intentions are recorded by punching out holes in a card using a frame which has the ballot assembled in the frame. And as you can see, the ballots are quite complicated. They use a stylus to insert in the hole here and push out the what's called a chad in the ballot, and then the ballots, once they're all fully punched, are run through a reading machine which counts all the holes. Paper-based systems are expensive to operate and can lead to a lot of errors. They also are very difficult for blind people to use, and normally they have to use someone to help them do the voting, and so they're not absolutely sure that what they want to have voted is being voted. The new technology has no paper, so there are no costs associated with paper. There are no errors associated with preparing the ballots. It's 100% accurate. You don't have any problems with spoiled ballots. And we have developed an interface that allows blind people to vote with complete confidence and privacy, so they know exactly what they're selecting. The technology that we've used in this system is based on commercial off-the-shelf hardware, and we've written some custom application software to implement the requirements for the voting system. In doing that, we've used some of the techniques and technologies that we've learned as part of the battlefield communication system that we developed for the Canadian Army to ensure that the votes are completely private, totally secure, and that the system is highly reliable. The equipment that would appear in the voting location with our system consists of standard computer equipment, which we have a demonstration suite here. There are basically two types of equipment: one that's used by what's called the election judge, which is equivalent to our polling clerk or deputy returning officer, to manage the election process. The other one is the voting terminal, where the voter actually enters their intentions. This is done by touchscreen mechanism, so that the voter just touches the screen to indicate what they want to do. And there's a possibility of changing the selection if you've made a mistake. In fact, we've tried to do that throughout the system so that you always have an opportunity to change your mind right up until you've cast your ballot. Unlike paper-based systems where once you've made a mark, you can't unmake the mark, you can do that in this system. We feel that this will be a very viable business here in Calgary for the future. We currently have 23 people working on the research and development program, and we see that continuing for several years and growing as the system takes hold.
Computing Devices Canada is currently in the process of marketing their product in the United States. We'll keep you posted for any plans concerning Canadian implementation. From the CDC offices in Northeast Calgary, this is Simon Bunyan reporting for Plugged In. Several years, the Calgary Public Library has made considerable gains in the implementation of computer technology, and specifically in making that technology more accessible for both public and corporate use. Over the next few months, for example, internet access computers will be installed throughout the library system. Computers which will enable the general public to surf and research information across the internet. The department which has been in the forefront of the library's technological revolution is the Downtown Central Library's Business Information Services. Today we will be talking with the head of that department, Don McMillan, about some of the powerful high-tech research options currently available at the Calgary Public Library.
The mission statement of the Business Science and Social Science Department of the Calgary Public Library is really to meet the information recreational needs of Calgarians. So whether that be business, automotive, health, consumer, really encompasses all of the various business and social science topics that they may be interested in. Some of the technical capabilities in the department include our fax for service, whereby we utilize fax machines to deliver information to customers Customers are also able to serve themselves with some of the self-service CD-ROM terminals that we have on the floor. That is, they can look for business information, they can look for health information, consumer information, merely by, getting onto the computer and looking for the information or entering the keywords that they're looking for. There's plug-in terminals for customers to use their laptops. We do online searches for customers, so there's a real range of services that we in fact offer. Information questions in the department, we're probably looking at over 1,000, and the specific business questions that we get, fee-for-service questions, we're probably looking at about 75 to 100 questions. So there's 5 telephones on at any given time. We're looking at about 300,000 questions a year. So if you do the math monthly, weekly, it's quite a busy area. Customers have and will continue to be able to access for free, minus perhaps photocopying costs. Increasingly, we've found there's a small constituency in Calgary, particularly our business community, who don't have the time nor inclination to come down and do their own work. They will contact us, and with our business information services that we introduced in July of 1994, we have the ability to fax information to customers, for example. We can download search for customers. We can obtain documents within a 24-hour or 48-hour turnaround for customers that we would not otherwise be able to obtain. So the things that customers don't want to do for themselves, we'll be happy to do that for them for a charge. But I would say that constitutes probably 10% of our clientele, our customer base. 90%, the vast majority of our customers can do a lot of the work themselves. Just 10% can contact us, and we'll do the service for them.
Any questions about business information services can be answered by phoning the department at 260-2782. From the Castell Central Library in downtown Calgary, this is Simon Bunyan reporting for Plugged In.